I'd like to thank you for coming, and basically this year we've had a great group of PTO and Booster Club members with us. We're going to change it up like from what we've normally done, and I'm going to let Miss King, Jan King, who with herself and her husband have been running our PTO athletic boosters. She's going to say a couple of words. If you have not got involved with the boosters, parents, I highly encourage you to do so. We've done a lot of great things for our programs this year. And as you may or may not be aware, between the boosters and the funds we receive at the gates, that's how we run our athletic programs. We don't receive any money from the county for athletics, so they are self-sufficient. And so our athletic boosters is a real important part for making some of the things that happen with our student athletes feasible for our athletes to be able to get to and from games and for other things to happen. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Jan. Can you give her a warm welcome? She's done a great job for us this year.
Thank you, Mr. Donan. The Athletic Boosters would like to thank everybody for coming, and I just wanted to explain to you one of the missions of the Booster Club this year was to educate the parents in the community about the funding of the athletic programs. And Mr. Donan mentioned this already. Oftentimes we hear that Fairview gets the short end of the stick in the county and that we get less amount of money for athletics. Actually, we get the same amount as every school, nothing. The Williamson County School District does not provide money for athletics. It's all done on a site-based decision, taking the money that's given to the school and divided between the athletics, the academics, and then the athletics. There's a lot of schools that will charge a participation fee for athletics. The administration here, we would like to take our hats off to them, have decided not to charge that fee so that everybody can participate on an equal level. But because we don't have those extra fees and we don't have the extra money, we have to rely on the fundraising and donations from parents. Our business community has been extremely generous. The Fairview community is always willing to give, but the cost of competing is outgrowing the business community, and we need to find ways that we can continue to support our teams. One of our coaches made a comment to us that not only do coaches need to know how and what to coach, they need to have a course in fundraising. We parents are going to have to continue to step up with our time and money to make sure that Fairview student athletes are able to compete with the best teams in Middle Tennessee. The Athletic Boosters is here to attempt to supplement needs beyond what the sports have been allocated or money that's been raised. Unfortunately, we cannot honor all the requests that we've had the past year. Our major fundraiser is a golf scramble that we have in the fall. We'd like to urge you to participate in the golf scramble, help us plan it, or purchase a whole sponsorship, the proceeds of which can go directly to the sport of your choice. This is just one way of supporting the sports programs. Next season, when your coach voices a need for additional funding, please step forward, make a cash donation in addition to the volunteer time that you're giving. The coaches are not paid enough to go to fundraising class. They need our help. In closing, we're here to honor our student athletes, but we'd also like to recognize all the coaches who go beyond their duties to make the Fairview Yellow Jackets a successful organization. Thank you.
At this time, I'm going to start calling some of the coaches down so they can recognize their athletes. We do have a couple of coaches that were unable to be here due to scheduling conflicts, so Coach Jones and I will be taking their places and giving out those awards. Our first group is tennis. I'm going to introduce Coach Bicknell, and she'll recognize her student athlete.
If I could have all the tennis players come on down.
2008 boys and girls tennis team, those that could or were able to attend tonight. And we had a really fun year. We had enough courts finally to have some matches here. We had spectators. We had fans that came out to most of the home games. So it really was exciting after 4 years that I've been coaching to actually have a need for bleachers and things like that. So thank you to all of you who made your friends want to come out and see you. I do have a few awards to hand out, as well as some certificate and some pins this year. So let me go ahead and start with that. We have some seniors who are on the team, and it's always difficult to say goodbye to the seniors because they're so much a part of our team. I would like to take a moment to say goodbye to Lexi. Lexi has been on the tennis team for all 4 years since she was a freshman, and she's definitely been a joy to have and somebody who is dedicated and always tries her hardest, and it was great to have. Thank you. To have with us. So I would like to give you this award or plaque, little statue, for your dedication and also your tennis pin. Thank you. We also have one more senior up here tonight, and that is Rachel Lee. And Rachel was new to our team this year, but she definitely was a wonderful addition. And I wish I could have had her last year, year before that. But she came on, and she just did wonderfully, and great attitude all the way through. And so I'm sorry that I only got to have you for 1 year, actually. But let me thank you. The next award I want to give out is for, of the people that are here, is for Most Improved. And this person has worked extremely hard throughout the past 3 seasons with us, and he is incredibly dedicated and is definitely someone who next year will be, who was this year, but next year will be, if he improves, continues improving, will be a force to be reckoned with on the court. And so I would like to give the Most Improved award to Kramer Mullins. Rachel, come over here. Okay, Rachel is here, and it's good timing. And thank you. Rachel, well, I guess I just gave away. Rachel definitely this year has surpassed any expectation I had for her performance on the court. She's played okay before this year, but this year, I don't know what happened, but she came out on the court and just was consistent and consistently hitting it in, consistently playing smart, just consistent, and that is so important on the tennis court. And so this year, for the girls' Most Improved, I would like to give it to Rachel Siegel. Okay. I don't think I have any seniors who've come in since then. Okay. Well, I would like to talk also about a couple other players that we have up here. Definitely, if you look at our height line, there's one that kind of sticks out among the rest, and it's handy that he's in the middle, so you can point him out. But we were glad to have Zach with us this year, and he and Kramer played doubles amazingly together, and so definitely they were able to move ahead. To move ahead in the turn in districts this year, and so Zach. My seniors came here. I saw Jeremy's mom. I figured Jeremy had to come at some point. All right. The next senior I would like to talk about is Evan Magnus, our little matchstick boy. Here, looks like a match. And Evan has also played 4 years with the Fairview tennis team, and I have seen him move from somebody who was, as I would say, Eeyoric. He was so down on himself, and every time he would make a bad play, he just couldn't get past it. And he would mope a little, and he couldn't move past it. But over the past 4 years of playing, he has turned into someone who is a great tennis player, who has the right attitude, who is a pleasure to have, not only because he helps coach, but he just has a great attitude, and I love having it on Lisa, because it's been 4 years. I'll give you your pen. Next person that I would like to talk about is Jeremy Bohr, and I only get to have Jeremy for 3 years because he chose to graduate early and leave the team, but it's okay because he's going on to great things for him in Florida. So, but Jeremy has been somebody who is always a laugh to have around, not at him, but with him. He is somebody who is also consistent. He has improved over the past 3 years to someone who really has a love for tennis. And so it's something that he will play for the rest of his life. As many of you guys up here will play for the rest of your life. And so what I wanted to give Jeremy, besides his kind of senior trophy, is the award for team spirit, because you definitely make the team. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. What can you say about Herschel Bridges? Herschel Bridges is somebody who does everything, tries his best at everything. He is someone you can always count on to do whatever you ask him to do. He plays very hard. He is somebody who will be a leader on the team next year. And he'll be a senior next year, so he'll have to step up there, but he definitely he'll rise to the challenge. And so, Herschel, it's been a pleasure to have you on the tennis team for the past 3 years, and I look forward to seeing what you have to do next year. So thank you. All right, my 2 freshmen are so cute that I can't stand it. But I'm going to talk about Drew first. Drew came onto the tennis team this year, and I don't always expect a lot of freshmen. As you know, some of them have never held a racket before. But Drew came on with an amazing ability to play the game of tennis. And I understand he's an athlete on many levels, so it's probably one of the reasons. But Drew is going to be an outstanding player and someone who will definitely be a winner in districts, I have a feeling, in 2 or 3 years. So it has been a pleasure to have Drew on the team as someone who is always positive and is always willing, again, to do what's asked of him and even go beyond and do things that aren't asked of him just because he knows they need to get done. So thank you very much. Darcy Cole, or Little Rachel as I call her, because well, her name's Rachel and she's little, and we had 4 Rachels on the team, so we had to discern people somehow. Three Rachels. They were all over the place. But, so Rachel Curtis has, I laugh at Rachel a lot, but I also laugh with Rachel because she can laugh at herself, which is a great quality to have. I think over the next 4 years, you are going to learn to hold your racket correctly. And at that point, she's just gonna be phenomenal. So she's gonna come up and play for all 4 years. So you're gonna be great. So I think that's everyone who's here. Better late than never. So thank you all for making my kind of last year coaching tennis a great one and a fun one. So I thank you. I'm done.
Our next sport is bowling, and Coach Smith, it's his first year to coach it, but he was unable to be here, so Coach Jones is going to present his award.
Members of the bowling team, please come forward, please. Senior awards that Coach Smith sent to me were Lee Ficken, Dustin Patterson, Tim Lampley, Daniel Chapdelaine, Zach Hughes, and Jeremy Moore. Are there any girls, senior girls here tonight? Sarah is on her way. Samantha Calley, Kathy Tours, and Sarah Lejeune are the senior girls that are on the bowling team. Coach Smith, being his first year, I asked him to write something and send it to me, and he gave me an email. These are the awards Coach Smith sent. He said, girls MVP is Marina Gentry. Is Marina here? Nope. Marina had a 164 average, qualified her for the state tournament where she finished 20th out of 72 qualifiers. Then Callie, are you here? Callie Barnhill? No. Callie had a 118 average, was competitive in every match, and she was extremely consistent. Both Marina and Callie bowled in every district match. And then girls most improved goes to Kathy Tours, who started out bowling in the 20s and 30s and ended up regularly bowling over 100. She finished with an 86 average, and that was a fantastic job by Kathy Tours. And so the girls bowling team did a good job, and I know he's expecting a lot out of Marina next year when it comes to the state. On the boys awards, boys MVPs, Zach Hughes with a 176 average and Tim Lampley with a 173 average led the team through every match this year. Zach had a game high of 267, which was the highest of the year. And so I'd like to congratulate, okay, he said it's 276, but what does Coach Ray, what does it say right here? 267. He'll talk to him later. But he did a great job. 267 is a great score. So I'd like to congratulate 276. Zach and Tim Lampley. I'm just doing what Miss Lamb hands me. I don't have my glasses on. Dion, can I borrow your glasses? No, thank you. Okay. Boys Most Improved Bowler, Jacob Lampley improved from last year's average of 116 to a 150 average this season, and I'd like to congratulate Jacob Lampley on his improvement. Guys, when we started this bowling a few years ago, Coach Anderson did a good job and laid a foundation. I think this is going to be one of our most successful programs here. I really do. I think the bowling can improve each and every year, and we're getting close to having people in the state. And I'd like to ask more people that if they're not doing anything in winter sports to consider bowling. It's really a great sport, and I think this is a fine group of young men that have planted the seed for a successful season next year. Let's give the bowling team a round of applause.
Our next coach is Amy Mangrum, and she's with Wrestling Cheerleading.
I don't know if we have any of the wrestling cheerleaders here today, but if there's any of them here that could come down. I don't see any of them. This is my first year here at Fairview High School and getting to coach, and I really appreciate the opportunity to get to work with these girls. This coming up next year, I'll be working with basketball cheerleading and look forward to that. Some of the awards for wrestling cheerleading, I have Most Dedicated, Sarah Galbraith. Most Spirited, Ashley Calzado. Most Improved, Holly Walker. Best All Around, Tamara Norville. And for participation and dedication, Amanda Spain. Thank you.
Our next sport is wrestling, and Coach Tim Slate will present.
Okay, can I have my wrestlers down front? Yeah, that means you too. Okay, well, this was my first year coaching here at Fairview, and before I get started, I have a lot of people I need to thank. First and foremost, my family for allowing me this time to spend a lot of evenings away and weekends at tournaments and matches. But I want to thank them first and foremost. And then second of all is the administration here, Sarah Lamb and Ricky Jones for hiring me to do this, and it's something I love to do. And I've been involved with wrestling for a long time. Longer than I want to remember, but my assistant coach here, Mike Smith, I couldn't do this without him. He's my right-hand man, and he's been a big part of our success that we've had this year. So I want to thank him for that. Our parents, there's a lot of parents that have done a lot of things to help me out this year that I couldn't do without. Tina White, Laurie Farrell. Anytime I needed anything at any of these events, they were always the first to volunteer to help with food or transportation. We had a lot of travel adventures getting to and from matches, and that was always fun to do. So I want to thank them. Teresa Chapdelaine, she did photos for us. That was a nice thing at the end of the year that each of these wrestlers got a photo collage of the different events that they were at. Desiree Leach, probably the fan of the year. If she was at a match, you could hear her. You knew she was there. But I appreciate her enthusiasm for the sport. And then Robert Meacham, who's no longer with us, But he's a big part of the reason I'm here too, and I just want to thank him for that. I'm going to go and introduce these wrestlers to you, and I'll have a little bit of word about each one of them. But the nice thing about this year's squad, I have no seniors, so nobody's graduating. And that makes me excited about next year's possibilities. As far as the team, I think we've had the best season this year that we've had in the last couple of years. We had three team victories for the season. But as far as the team goes, I think that's, in my mind, is a successful season. We've had several guys that placed in tournaments. In fact, a couple of newcomers that did very well in some tournaments. But anyway, I'm going to start with a sophomore, Chris Tidwell, who was my 119-pounder. He had a good season. We got a little work for him cut out for next season. But he was my smallest guy on the team. I need a couple of smaller guys, if there's some other guys out there that are small. The nice thing about wrestling, you can be any size and participate in the sport. I need little guys and big guys. We had a lot of injuries this year, so as far as body counts, it'd be nice to have a few more bodies on the team, but with what we had, we did great. So Chris was a big asset to our team, and he always had a smile on his face. So he was a joy to coach, and Coach, you got this. Next person is a freshman, Caleb White. He's never wrestled before. He's a first timer, and he was an interesting wrestler to coach. Enjoyed coaching him very much. I look forward to next year. Now that he's got a year under his belt, I think there's a lot of good things to come for him, being a freshman. He didn't get any individual wins this season, but with the work that we put in, and hopefully over the summer, there's only upwards for him. But for Caleb, this season, he gets our Most Improved Award. Next one, Justin Wilkinson. He's a sophomore. We got a lot to look forward to with him in the future. He's had several years experience, and he was a joy to have on the team. And he had some good quality wins against some tough wrestlers, and a lot of close ones. We were hoping he could pull out, but he had a good year, and we look forward to next season. He's only going to get better. One wrestler that's not up here right now is Trevor Grice. He was a junior. He has actually moved, if I understand correctly, out of state. He was a junior, but he had a very good season. He had a winning record, and we miss him, but he had a very good year. Cody McCormick, sophomore, right? Make sure I had that right. He was a first-time wrestler. He kind of came to us a little bit late in the season. But with some work, we put a lot of hard work on him, and had to start with some of the basic moves. But he picked up on what little time he had very quickly. So I was proud with what progress he made. In fact, there's a few times I threw him into some matches, and his eyes got this big, like deer in headlights. It's like, you want me to wrestle this guy? It's like, yes, I do. And that's one thing, we just keep throwing him out there. He's going to get better. So I'm looking forward to having him next season. Our next wrestler, is Matthew here? Okay, Matthew Leach, he's a junior, and he was injured probably about halfway through the season, Coach. Of all our wrestlers, he had, I think, the most desire of anybody to try and succeed and work hard. But unfortunately, I guess she wished she could be here tonight. But he had a weird injury. We're still trying to diagnose what it is. I think he's had a hernia or something, but It's really kind of sidelined him for a good part of the season. But for his efforts and always striving to improve and work hard and practice, even when he was injured, I had to hold him down several times. Like, you can't practice because you've been injured, but he'd still want to do it for his desire. He actually gets our bronze award for the year. Our next one's a sophomore, Dalton Cavender. Always had a smile on his face. It didn't matter what, I could be working him to death, he'd still be smiling. And he never sweats. He always smiles, even if he goes on his back, that's true. Very good on his leg moves. We can work on a few other things. He's going to be extremely successful. And I know he's going to have a really good junior season. Our next wrestler is a junior, Dylan Coach. Of all our wrestlers, this year he had the most successful as far as wins, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm working from memory, which I'm kind of fading here. I think he had 25 wins for the season. I think it was 25-10, which was the best winning percentage of the team this season. And had a lot of good moves, very successful in several tournaments. And very, very good leader. If I ever asked him to do something, he would do it. He would lead without any problem. If I had him do warm-ups, I could always count on Dylan to do that for me, to lead the team and exercise, warm-ups, whatever. He'd never say no. So I was glad to have him on our team this year. And for his efforts, he is going to receive the award for MVP. Next one's a new wrestler too. Even though he's a junior, Calvin Hopkins came to us as a junior. And of all the wrestlers I've seen, never having wrestled before, he picked up very quickly. He's a gifted athlete to begin with, but Calvin came to us. He was actually my only wrestler in the McGavick tournament that placed. I was extremely proud for his efforts in that tournament. Never had any experience whatsoever. He would pick up on moves. He kind of suffered a few injuries during the season, which kind of sidelined him a little bit, but he put in a lot of hard work, and I was glad to have him as part of our team this season. Our next one, a sophomore, Sean Franks. He actually suffered a season-ending injury with a back injury about halfway through, partway through the season. He's a very talented wrestler, but due to that injury that sidelined him for a good part of the season, he wasn't able to continue on later in the season. But he was very talented and easy to coach, would pick up on moves very easily, and I was glad to have him on our team for the most part of the season. Even though when he was injured, though, he would show up at practices, so I was glad to have him. Our next one is a sophomore, and I don't see him here. His name's Joey Leach, or affectionately known as Bulldog, which was, I think one of the coaches had dubbed him the Bulldog because he kind of had that face. But he liked that, and we kind of tagged that name onto him. But he was that's right, the newspaper guy called him Bulldog. That's where it came from. But he had a good year. He came really close to qualifying for the state tournament. Was only a few seconds away from beating the Harpeth kid, in which case he would have probably qualified for state tournament. But he had a very good year, and for his efforts, he's receiving the Coaches Award for his efforts. Next one is a freshman, Jacob Chapdelaine. He's wrestled before. Actually, I did a lot with him this year. I had to move him up and down in weight classes until we kind of got things settled as far as where everybody was going to stay with their weight classes. There was, due to a lot of the rules for the weight management program, I had to shuffle a lot of bodies around to different weight classes. I know early on, it's because of the timeline you have to lose weight for certain weight classes. I was bumping Jacob around a lot, and he was wrestling up at times 2 weight classes. I could move him up, but I couldn't move him down. But he was a hard worker. He surprised me on several matches, but he pulled out some good wins against some quality wrestlers. Being a freshman, I know he was successful in the middle school program, but I'm looking forward to having him next year. He'll be a sophomore, and it's only going to get better for him. Our next wrestler is a sophomore. I don't see him here, is Ethan Cassidy. He was one of our state qualifiers as a freshman, but this year he only was able to wrestle a couple matches, and he had a back injury. In fact, he's still suffering some problems with his back. So we kind of lost him early in the season, but I do consider him a very big part of this team. Even when he was injured, there was a lot of matches that he would show up and help keep score or whatever I needed him to do. But he was a vital part. We're looking forward to hopefully getting his back injury resolved so we can have him back for next season. And last but not least, a junior, Andy Bateman. You're a junior. Looking forward to his senior year. We kind of called him coach for a while after he had a concussion, so we kind of sidelined him for a good part of the while of the season. But there's a lot of times I put him to work doing other things besides wrestling, organizing some things and working at the matches. So I was very proud to have him as part of our team. Yeah. Our next award actually isn't for a wrestler, but an honorary team member. I don't know if you were at the match, you wouldn't know who this person is, but at one of our home matches that we actually had in here, I invited a singer to do the national anthem for us, and it was Jordan Pruitt, who's a recording artist, and of all the singers I've heard in my lifetime, she probably did the best rendition of the national anthem that I've ever heard, and for her assistance with doing that for us, because she has a very busy schedule with her tour. She's out on tour right now, so she couldn't be here tonight, but I was glad that she was able to participate in that event for us. And in fact, I think of all the matches we had for the year, when she was saying that for us, that was probably the biggest crowd we had of the whole season. So I was very honored that she was able to do that for us. And Coach Smith just reminded me of one other person I need to thank, and that's Isabel. Anytime I needed a scorekeeper, she always was there to help out. And she was a very big help, because that's sometimes the coaches get worried about trying to coach and forget about having somebody keep the books, because there was a few times I didn't have a body there to actually keep score, and so it was good that I could call on her to be able to help us out with that. So I want to thank you for that. Thank you.
Our next coach is with basketball cheerleading, Tammy Heckhoff.
First, I'd like to ask all the cheerleaders that are here that cheered for 2007 and 2008 to come down.
This is a little more than half of our girls, and they did a fantastic job this year. I had a great group of seniors. This was my first year coaching now, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and am looking forward to coaching football cheerleading in the fall. I'll start by giving out awards to the JV cheerleaders, which actually this year we let the senior cheerleaders vote for which JV cheerleaders they thought deserved these awards. And the first award will go to Samantha Bennett for Best All Around. The second award is for 110%. Will go to Jessie Dotson. And the next award is for Most Spirited, which will go to Katie Hedcock. Senior awards, best all around. This girl came to practice every practice. She was at every game, even when it wasn't her group's turn to come. She always has a smile on her face, and she's a great example of how the young lady should act. Lexi Bergerspan. This is my little firecracker. She's always got something to say, but she was at every game, and she was always cheering for the team, even when they were down 20 points. Kelsey Price. Most dedicated. This was easy for me. Would have to be Hannah Ramey. Our most spirited senior, she was there all the time. Always, anything I ever needed, she was always there to do it for me. Thank you.
Our next sport is girls basketball, and we have Coach Wayne McGowan.
Come on down, ladies basketball team. This will be short and sweet. I've already been warned, so. First of all, I'd like to say thanks to the administration for having me back again this year. And I'd also like to say thanks to the parents of these young ladies, especially during this season. I guess all of them would have to be MVP. And I say that because, one, they have to put up with me, and two, they have to put up with Coach Bledsoe. So it's kind of been a trying year for us, but it's been a special year, great group of young ladies. I'll start with our freshman. First is Joan Burgess. I don't think she's here. Trish Lancaster. Come on up. Chelsea Grishopper. Taylor King. Rosalind Mosley, Allison Nutt, and Kyla Surdike. Our juniors, Shelby Cooper, and Kayla Davis. Last but not least, our seniors. We actually have a junior that is actually graduating early, Lindsay Crumby. I don't think she's here. And also Ashley Vaughn. And then we have Autumn Harrison. And Becky Caldwell. I don't know if many of you know, but a couple of weeks ago, Becky signed with Mid-Continent out of Kentucky for a NAIA scholarship. And then about a week and a half later, I got a call from her saying, I need to talk to you. I'm like, what's going on? And then the coach is calling me. And I'm thinking, something's really going on. The coach actually resigned from Mid-Continent and had accepted a job to Dyersburg State University and wanted to take Becky with him. So Becky will be going to Dyersburg State Community College. Becky was also named to the first team All-District 11AA team this season. I'm going to go ahead and give this one other award. But before I do that, I want to do a special thanks to Miss Robin Harrison. She's been with us since I got here, and I've been here 7 years now. And anytime you need anything, you go to Miss Robin. You know, all the kids go to her. If you need a transcript, if you need something with college, they go to her. So, you know, she makes my job a lot easier, and I'm not even in her department, but if I need something, she's always the one to go get it for me. So I just like to say a special thanks to Miss Robin. Drew Bledsoe. Where's Drew at? Is he here? Come on down here, Drew, right quick. Drew was also named to the District 11AA First District team, or second team, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Well, guys, come on down. While they're coming down, I'd like to do my thank you. My thank you is also to Ms. Harrison, but also to y'all for helping us get with the gym ready every day after school, and administration for supporting us and everything we need to get done. We're going to, I'll give y'all certificates and stuff tomorrow during the day sometime. We're going to talk about during the classes. First off, our freshman class. Our freshman class was an outstanding class, probably the most successful bunch out of this group because we played a freshman schedule with them. They did exceptionally well. They have a unique bunch about fitting together, where they have a post player, and they have the shooters, and they have the leaders and stuff on their team. So they have a good group of kids. There's 6 of them, and again, they all know their niche. You know, we've got I don't know who's here and who's not, but Dakota Parker was our inside person. Did a great job scoring for us in there. Nathan Tibble he's an exceptional leader and a floor general and a good shooter, and a ball handler, and he knows how to rise to the occasion when we need a steal. He makes a steal. Hunter Branch is over here. Hunter Branch has the unreal deceptive speed. One of the kids that kind of floats. You think, well, he's not going very fast, but all of a sudden he's at the basket. Well, how does he get in the basket? I don't know, but he gets there, and that's he does a really good job. Drew Elliott is our shooter. He's one of many first years, but he's a true pleasure to coach in a sense that he makes you feel like you're doing a good job because you see him doing the things that you told him to do. You know, that's rare for us sometimes. But with Drew, you say, well, I know I said it because there it is. You know, I'm going to do it. And Drew, in one particular, his highlight of the year, he played 1 quarter alone in the varsity game. He had 17 points. Where he come out and just didn't miss, and I'm really excited about that group. Nathan Green, tons of energy, going 90 miles an hour, up and down the floor, good defensive person, and really creates havoc for the other team. And Ernie, I don't think Ernie here, but Ernie was the first year he played organized ball, and he did an exceptional job being kind of our sixth person on that team, and they had to play a lot. We played a lot of games and a lot of minutes when you only got 6 people. They were happy to come out sometimes. So they got to play a lot, and they did a real good job and a real good freshman bunch. Thank you for that bunch. Our sophomore group is another big class. We've got Tanner King, and all these people started at sometime during their year as sophomores, and just did an outstanding job and getting better all the time. It's Tanner King, Bobby Bob, Devin Pinner, and Stephen Ray. Did I say it wrong? He's still there with somebody else. But they did a good job. They're all started sophomores at some point in time, and they're going to do a good job, and we're excited about it. We had an odd season in the sense that we stayed hurt all year long. Somebody was hurt. We never had a full rotation except in the middle of the season when we won all of our stuff. Game, whether it's in there. So I had a lot of potential with it because we had Drew hurt for a long time. He came back. We did real well. And Ben got hurt, and Devin broke his, not Devin, but Dakota broke his foot too. So we were always hurt. So it's always in the mix of things, but we never could get over the hump. So our big goal for next year is to stay healthy. The junior class is Drew Bledsoe and Ben Johnson, and they catch more grief than anybody from me, and they deserve it probably most of the time. But I call on them probably too much, but out of necessity we had to. They lead the team in scoring, they lead the team in rebound, they lead the team in assists. They do an outstanding job. Plus they have a high. I'm going to make sure I say this basketball IQ, because I don't know if they but their basketball IQ is good. If you say something that you want them to do, they will do it. And they understand the big picture, which is a pleasure for them to be coaching and be around. And the last one is Jesse. Jesse's not here. Jesse's our only senior, and Jesse did a good job for the last several years. And I think he's not here tonight because he did a really good job for it. But I appreciate everybody's hard work, and I look forward to do something with it. Thanks.
Our next sport is track, and Coach Reimer was unable to be here because he's actually at the state track meet. So Coach Jones is going to do his award.
Would any members of the track team please come and stand to my right? We actually have Alice Shue who's participating in an event tonight, so that's why Coach Reimer could not be here. But Coach Reimer sent an email today, and before I read his email, I do want you to know that I think the track program is another program that's on the upswing with our rubberized track. We held our first track meet ever this year, and we had a good attendance. I'd like to thank the Booster Club for doing the concessions. I could tell you a funny story. We were at a middle school. My daughter's a middle school track, and we were at a middle school track meet. Ralph Ringstaff is over all Fairview athletics. And Ralph showed up at the track meet, and I looked at Ralph, and we have a young lady over at the middle school that set a county record in the high jump. But that week was her first time she ever had high jumped. And her name is Christiana Purvis. And I told Ralph, I said, you know, Ralph, I said, it's pitiful we're out there at Fairview and you guys don't help us any. I said, we did not have a high jump bar for her. We had to hold a PVC pipe for her, which is true. And I said she had to land in bales of hay. Okay, I went over to the high jump, from the high jump, and went over to the long jump. And Ralph came over there in a minute, and he says, Ricky, is her legs really scratched up? Does she really have to jump in a bale of hay? I said, and I got Ralph really good because I said, you know, Ralph, you need to come out here and you need to help us out here some. I said, no, she didn't have to jump in a bale of hay. But, you know, you believed it for a second there. And he did. So, you know, maybe the track program will build up, and I hope so. But on to the awards. Coach Reimer said the following. Thanks for all the help. You will need to give a varsity letter to the following. Lauren Cheek, Kayla Sledge, Molly Casaletta, Alice Hugh, who is not here, Tony Nee, Devin Pinner, and Michael Birch. So we will give each of you a letter here. Okay. We'll give you a pin now on the letters in just a minute. And for awards, he said Kayla Sledge will be receiving the Field MVP Award for outstanding performances in the long jump throughout the year, and the other MVP award goes to Ali Hsu. And that's the email I got from Coach Wilmer. Thank you very much for the track team. Okay, thank you very much. And now the next coach will be softball, and would the softball team please come and stand to my right. Before I begin, I'd like to thank several people. I'd like to thank the administration for all the support they gave. Especially I'd like to thank Miss Amy Mangrum. I know Amy may have already ducked out, but Amy did a good job this year, helping out right off the bat with umpires and everything. Coach Bledsoe, 2 years in a row with Ricky, and he's a super help and just someone to talk to. Ricky knows the game well, and it's great to have him helping out over at first base. The girls say between he and I, we do a lot of stuttering and spitting, but that's okay. And Kristen Welch this year. Kristen Welch helped us out this year, and we called her mama last year, and she did a good job helping us out. And Dion, of course, is our #1 fan. We'd also like to thank the parents and the Booster Club. The Booster Club this year helped us out. We purchased a new mower with the baseball team, and it was great to have it out there, and I promise next year the field will look even better. One thing about the team before we begin, we graduated 5 seniors off last year's team. That went 25 and 16. And going into this year, you know, we had our higher aspirations and expectations. And we finished this year 22 and 12, which is a tremendous record. And we probably counted the other day 8 games that were rained out, and I think we would have had a good shot of winning all 8 of those games. Coach Bledsoe and I, at the first year, thought 30 wins maybe. And I think without the rainouts, we could have done that. We finished tied for 4th in the district. Our district is very tough. Waverly's still going on. They're in the state right now. We finished 3rd in the district tournament. We put out Sycamore, who was a little bit ahead of us, and Montgomery Central, and we lost a long game to Waverly. These girls can tell you about that. We had lights go out. We had umpires that were claiming people in the stands were saying things. And he couldn't hear me call courtesy runner 10 feet away. but it was a long game. We got home about 11:30. Last year's team, we had 6 home runs. This group of girls, between them, in 41 games, had 6 home runs. This year's team had 17 home runs in 34 games. This group of girls have some power. We defeated every Williamson County team we faced this year. Every one of them that we faced. We might not have faced Ravenwood, Brentwood, and Page, but we faced every team, and we defeated every other team in the county, and we defeated them, which is a tremendous thing to say for this county. We reduced our errors by 15 over last year, so this group of girls was a tremendous group of girls, and I expect a lot out of the team next year. I'll say something about each, and if you will, come up and get your certificate. Freshman, Katie Hefcock. Katie played outfield for us. She really improved on her batting. I used her as a pinch hitter a lot in the season. She got hurt, something about a door, and so she had to sort of sit on the side and be very supportive, and she was that for our team, and the cheerleading came out in her to help us out a lot. Next is Chelsea Grisharbor. Chelsea played outfield for us, and Chelsea pitched a little bit. Maybe we can see her pitch a little bit more next year. Chelsea started a lot in the outfield, and she led the team in falling for Coach Bledsoe's practical jokes. She'd go over first base, and Coach Bledsoe would tell her something. She'd come back to the dugout and say, "Really?" You know, and it'd be a minute or two later, we'd have to explain it to her. Okay, next is Trish Lancaster. Trish played second base for us, started for us most season. I'm going to call her Little Hoppy for more reasons than one. She has power, and in a game in Waverly District, 2 home runs back-to-back out of the park, and I started talking about calling her Hoppy then. But then in the district tournament, when I saw her throw her glove down and start chasing an opposing player on the field, I knew she was Little Hoppy then. Okay, so Little Hoppy, Trish Lancaster, expect a lot out of her next year. Sophomores, Angel Messenger. Angel in the outfield, we said. Angel played center field for us. Angel did a great job. She was the loudest person on the team. She led the team this year in sacrifice bunts, and she did a fantastic job for us. And I wish she'd played last year, but I'm looking forward to 2 more years from Angel. Allison Nutt, outfield. Allison is a great team player. She just has to put up with her uncle on the team from time to time, and her hitting came along and improved as the year went on, and she did a great job as the year went on. Sophomore, Chelsea Shelby. Chelsea led the team this year in strikeouts. She's pitched for us most of the time and plays second base when she wasn't pitching. Sophomore, Shelby Hoppy, first base. Shelby led the team with intentional walks. They were walking Shelby this year, sort of reminded me of the old days with Sally at the plate, but they were walking Shelby right and left, intentional walks. Waverly, or was it Creekwood, walked you 4 times. Creekwood walked her 4 times in one game, and the Creekwood pitcher was at the Montgomery Central game in the tournament when she knocked one out, and the Creekwood pitcher yelled at the Montgomery Central coach, said, "See, while I pitch her the way that I do." And so Shelby did a good job for us this year at first base. Juniors, Chelsea Morton is not here. Chelsea Morton played outfield for us, and Chelsea is a great team player. And she really, she did a lot with Coop organizing senior night, and I wanted to thank her for that. And Kinley. Junior, Shelby Cooper, third base. Coop was second in the team in hits this year. She was one of our most consistent hitters. She did very well hanging back on a changeup, better than anyone on the team. And you know, a lot of times we have to let people know the changeup's coming, but Coop had the knack to know when it was coming and be able to hit it. Shortstop and pitcher, Kinley Lambert, Jr. We called her Rifleman, me and Bledsoe did, but she didn't know, so I guess, that makes me a little bit old, but some of you people in the crowd know who the Rifleman was, old Western, but Kinley has an arm on her, and she does a great job, and power. She ended up with 2 home runs. They walked Hoppy in the Montgomery Central game, first inning, and she came up behind Hoppy and knocked it over the fence, and the next time they didn't walk Hoppy. So that's what we got to have. Somebody behind Hoppy that will make them pay. And that's what the girls, Coop and Kinley, who have been there all year, did. Okay, seniors, let me say one thing about the seniors. They're great leadership. They helped turn this program around more than anybody else. And my 3 seniors, if they'll come on up here. The first one is Sarah Lejeune. Dorothy, if any of you saw The Wizard of Oz, she did a great job. She's going to
Catawba College.
Catawba, I couldn't say it, in North Carolina, and she's going to be a drama major. And she, if I could give her a mask, she'd know what it would be for. Sarah sits over there and still signs. She still signs. And the girls know to listen to Sarah. We have a way of telling when a change-up's coming. I mean, some coaches may not, but if she's yelling, let's go, Angel, let's go, Angel, let's go, Angel, it's going to be a fastball or something fast. But the first time she yells, let's go, Messenger, we know a change-up's coming in. And so she really helped the team out by staying in the game all the time, even when she wasn't in the game, still in the signs. And we're going to have to get somebody else to do that next year. Next is Alicia Tidwell. Alicia is our catcher. She did a great job for 4 years. She led the teams this year. A lot of times coaches have courtesy runners for the catcher. Not Alicia. Alicia led the teams this year in stolen bases. And she's a great runner. I think she's thrown out once or twice, but her percentage of stealing bases was way high. So Alicia, there's your certificate. I love you, Taylor! Okay. And our final singer is Laura Shelby. Laura Shelby pitched for us for 4 years, a lefty, which would throw teams off a lot. Laura has a great changeup, but one thing that I want to mention about Laura right now, she was a great leadoff hitter with 21 walks and 30 runs, led the team in both categories this year. So besides just being a pitcher, Laura's a great all-around player and a great offensive player. I have some special awards. We had all-district, 3 girls selected to the all-district team voted on by the coaches. They are Chelsea Shelby, Shelby Hoppy, and Laura Shelby. I don't know, I can't read your names. Which one? Find your names. And I have several special awards. Coaches Awards. This young lady, if I needed some help, she was there to help. If I had a lot of bags on the bus, she took them off. She is a leader by example, even though she's a sophomore. Allison Nutt. Gold Glove Award. I have 2 awards because for Gold Gloves, sometimes these awards are real close. But on Gold Glove Award, the first award goes to my shortstop, Kinley Lambert. Kinley played a tough position, and her fielding average was .913. It's not like being in the outfield or first base where, Shelby Hoppy's fielding average is higher, but she's going to get a lot of outs because she's getting a lot of throws straight to her, or fly balls. You're supposed to catch those. Kinley, I'm not talking about you, Shelby, I'm just talking about out in the outfield. But at third base, at shortstop, that's a tough position. You got to make the throw, you got to field it, and her fielding average was over .913. Kinley, congratulations, Gold Glove Award. The next Gold Glove Award goes to a senior. She had 1 pass ball in 3,277 pitches. 3,277 pitches this year and 1 pass ball. Alicia Tibble. I hate to see him go. She also threw out 9 runners, so I didn't get to that. Okay? And pitching awards, I have 2 young ladies that carried the team in pitching, and their co-pitching awards. The first one goes to senior Laura Shelby. Laura had 8 wins, 87 strikeouts, and only 0.6 walks per game. I told Laura several times her control is so good, sometimes it gets her in trouble because she's always around the plate. And excellent job of pitching, Laura Shelby. And the other pitching award goes to Chelsea Shelby. Chelsea had 12 wins, 141 Ks, and that's one thing she always wants to know how many Ks she had. And her ERA was 1.28 ERA. Fantastic job, Chelsea. Pitching award. And the Best Offensive Player Award goes to a young lady whose batting average was .385. Sally, she says she's coming after your home run record. She's already checked it, okay? She had 8 home runs this year, and this award goes to Shelby Hoppy. Great group of girls. Love them. I hate it's over. And give them a round of applause, and I'll miss them all.
We have something for Coach Jones from the seniors. I speak for all of us when I say that both Coach Jones and Mr. Bledsoe have made such a positive impact on our lives the past 4 years, and we will miss you so terribly. Our next coach is for baseball, Curtis Putnam.
All of our baseball players will make their way down. A couple things before we introduce the players that we have here tonight. I want to mention our coaches. I've got a couple of coaches this year that helped me for the first time, and they were doing it on a volunteer basis. Certainly made a great difference on our team this year. We were a little apprehensive going into the year on what kind of season we were going to have. I believe the work of Trent Walker and Chris Butler made a tremendous difference in our outcome this season. Trent worked with our outfielders, and Chris worked with our infielders, and I've got a little something for them I want to give them, and I thank them so much for their help. Like I say, going into the season, we were a little apprehensive on how things were going to be. I know early in the spring we were going around school trying to talk anybody that we possibly thought that could throw a baseball to maybe play this year. We were wondering where we were going to find any wins. Of course, always a little scared, at the beginning on how we're going to do. But, of course, and I guess I tend to, my wife always says I'm a little pessimistic about things anyway. So I was really unsure on how things were going to go. But it ended up being just a great season. I tell you what, one of the most enjoyable years that we've had. I guess when you feel like you've overachieved, that really makes you feel good. We finished the regular season in 4th place, and we finished 3rd place in the tournament. We had 9 wins over district opponents, 13 wins overall. So I was just so very pleased of this group of young men and what they've accomplished. And basically, it all goes to this senior class. These seniors have been tremendous leaders for us for 4 years, and they really stepped up and held the team together. And I'm certainly proud of them and thank them for all they've done for the program. So So let's begin with our freshmen that we've got here this evening. We've got 3 freshmen who earned letters this year or played big parts in our team. Hunter Branch, he started out the season on the disabled list. Broke his finger playing dodgeball in the gym, probably early in March, and then so he had to miss the first few weeks. So that kind of slowed him down a little, but he came back and provided some good play for us. He plays in the outfield, and Hunter, you come here, get your The next one is Jacob Chapdelaine. Jacob also is getting his first letter. He did a great job for us this year at first base. Great glove over there at the bag. We're going to stretch him over the summer, see if we can't get him a little bit taller. Will's a little scared about throwing it to him over there. Really need to be about 6 foot tall to be a first baseman, so he's got a little ways to go. So I bought a stretching machine that I'll have him on all summer, and next year, hopefully we won't have to worry about that. Jacob, thank you so much. Nathan Tidwell is our 3rd freshman that started at second base this year. Did a tremendous job. Also, he did get 1 victory in relief pitching. Can also catch. I guess we're looking probably at this point maybe having to move him to catcher next season with Lee's graduating. But he can play anywhere. Got good speed. Just a great kid. Nathan, come and get your letter. Let's see, our sophomore that we have here tonight, Devin McCormick. Devin also will get his first letter. He plays second base, and pretty much mostly at the end of the season, we had him in the DH spot. Came up with some big hits there at the end of the year for us. So we're looking for him to step up next year. We're going to, like I say, as we go from one year to the next, we have to refigure what we're going to do and where we're going to move some people. But I know he'll be successful wherever we decide to go with him. See, juniors we have here this evening are Will Stearns. Will played shortstop for us. Will started off, had a great first half of the season, kind of slumped a little bit at the end, but he did lead the team in RBIs. This will be his second year to letter, so Will, you come and get your... Our other junior was Matt Atkinson, alias the Mud Turtle. I don't know where we would have been without Matt this year. Of course, Matt was our #1 pitcher. He had 8 wins for us on the season. Also was second on the team in hitting at .387. He was the only person on the team that hit a home run. He hit 3 home runs this year. Like I say, I don't know where we'd have been without him. Of course, baseball, you're not going to win without pitching. Like I say, we won 13 games. He won 8 of them, and just kept us in there all year long. I think he had about 82 strikeouts and 66 innings. The first week of the season, he pitched all 4 games. The first week, I thought I was going to kill him the first week. I kind of started backing off a little bit after that, trying to rethink what I was doing to him. But he's tremendously dedicated to baseball, plays all the time in summer, and he just made tremendous strides this year, and I'm already can't wait to see what he'll do next year. Matt's he was selected to the all-district team this year, and he's also going to get our award for being our best pitcher. All right, now for this senior group, golly, these guys right here are like I say, they may not be blessed with a lot of baseball talent, but I tell you what, they're the 4 best. They're the 4 best young men that I've coached. Never a single problem from any teacher. Never ever come up to me anytime and said anything about them. They're tremendous students. Lee was number 1 in his class, and I know Tim was number 3. And if we could just get Zach to school on time, everything would be great. So you were 21, okay, right? And so, I mean, I can't say enough about them. I think in 4 years they've won about 52 ball games. Like I say, they were the glue that held this team together this year. I'm telling you that we really just overachieved. That's all I can say. And I'm so proud of them. I'm gonna miss them. I know they're going to be successful in life though, because they just work so hard. We'll start off with Zach Hughes. Zach, is getting a coach's award just for how hard he plays. I know there was one time, I got on him for dropping a fly ball. He got a little scared. He got close to the fence, and of course, gosh, in the next 2 or 3 weeks, he ran into every fence. I think he ran into the fence 2 or 3 times. I thought he killed himself out here one night. He hit the fence so hard, but he may be little, but he's got a big heart, and he ended up having his best season hitting this year, probably about 265, and I can't thank him enough for all this hard work. Of course, he also gets a senior award for all these guys have been getting a senior award for playing for 4 years. Ryan Bledsoe is the next one. Ryan played left field for us. He was selected to the all-district team this year, had his best season hitting. He ended up hitting at 333. Probably led the team in runs scored. He scored 27 runs. Led the team in stolen bases with 13. He could play the infield as well as outfield, but we're always a little low on outfield. It's a tough outfield to play out there up on the hill, wind blowing all the time. But at times he'd always scare me. I'd hold my breath every time. But most of the time he got the job done, and I know that wasn't his best position. I think he probably would have been a better infielder, possibly than an outfielder. But like I said, he sacrificed the team to play wherever I put him, and just had an excellent season, and I'm proud of him. Right there. Tim Lampley was mainly our first baseman, but like I say, we really only had one pitcher really going in the season, and Tim had pitched a little bit his junior year. I don't think he threw very many innings, but he really stepped up this year, and he won 4 games for us, and he pitched in the last game and just probably pitched one of his best games of the season. We played Sycamore, the #1 team, and really, gosh, we were just a little bit unlucky that day. We hit some good balls, and they made some Sports Center highlight plays on us, but they never hit anything hard off of Tim that whole day. I've never seen so many blue pits in one game. Probably got a little bit tired. I probably should have taken him out the last inning, but I had faith that he would get us through. He wanted to stay in, but sometimes need to do what. Like I say, I probably should have taken him out, but it wasn't his fault. He pitched a great game. He pitched 2 days before on Monday against Waverly. This was just Wednesday, and he had to come back. And like I say, Tim has been an excellent student here. We usually give an award for not only baseball ability, but also classroom and what you've done there. So we're going to give Tim the Golden Jacket Award for this season. And the last senior is Lee Ficken. Lee, was our catcher this year, probably. Well, yeah, and that's right. He bugged me for 3 years to pitch, and I never would. Always say, "Coach, I'm ready to go," and it was just always kind of a joke. Every day, "Coach, I'm ready to go," And of course, I guess we got so desperate at the end of the year, sure enough, finally we got him in, and really, yeah, really, he did. You know, he made me eat crow, I guess, for a little while, and but really, I guess he probably got in the rotation about the last 3 weeks and pitched some good games in there. We probably didn't play a good enough defense behind him and stuff, but really, I guess I should have had him in there at the beginning of the year. So you know, it's just bad coaching. That's all I can say. But he led the team in hitting this year. He hit 407, which was way up from his junior year. I think he hit about 265. He was second on the team in RBIs, and just had a tremendous year behind the plate. Really carried us offensively. Hit third in the order. Like I say, he's a great kid, valedictorian of his class, and I'm sure certainly going to miss him. He was also selected as a member of the all-district team, and of course he'll get an award tonight for being our top hitter. No, that's it. So I just thank you all so much.
We also have a little something for Coach, as seniors. He's known us all, 4 of us, since we were probably like 5. And he's put up with us and coached us for the past 4 years. So we're going to give him a little gift card.
Our next sport is boys soccer, and Coach Loudon and Coach Grimpenstein could not be here tonight, so I will be presenting the soccer awards. If all the boys soccer members that are here, if you could come forward. Coach Loudon wanted to give the MVP award to Jared Hill. He says that Jared for being the kind of impact player that could change a game from whatever position he may have been playing, and for consistently bailing out his teammates when they needed him the most. The next award is Best Offensive Player. This goes to Tyler Emler for not only leading the team in goals scored, but always finding a way to give out a team the spark with either an unselfish assist or an inspired effort. Next is the Best Defense Award, and it goes to Tanner Beard for truly being the anchor for our defense and always being a reliable cure for every opponent's strongest player. Also for his unselfish service to the team on and off the field. And Tanner is not here. Okay. Our next is the Jacket Award, and it goes to Cody Wilson. Coach Wilson says for having a positive attitude that never wavered in the face of tough losses and team turmoil, for being an incredible inspiration to not only the players on the team, but the coaches as well, for single-handedly changing the tide of the game in the course of our season. The next award is the 12th Man Award, for never complaining, and it goes to Dakota Bryson, for never complaining and truly being the heart and soul of our team, whose intensity always rubbed off on his teammates and whose guts and spirit allowed him to serve the team on defense and on offense, even in the midfield and even some on the sidelines. Our Most Improved Award goes to Willie Clark for maximum effort and support in every game and every practice. goes to Curtis Hand for being the backbone of the team, reinforcing when reinforcement was needed, guiding when guidance was needed, and being the kind of leader that respects each player as an individual that's becoming a part of something bigger. And the next award is the Leadership Award, and this goes to Daniel Chapdelaine for being the kind of leader who leads with his attitude and his exceptional ability to alter the momentum of the game, for taking upon himself all the burdens of being a leader and being such a positive influence upon all who know him. Okay, that is it. Our next award Coach Jones will present is the Senior Athlete of the Year.
The senior athlete goes to the senior with the highest average, and wish him well in college, and that award goes to Lee Ficken. With that, tonight, the last thing we'll close with is our star athlete and our gold star athlete. And what I'm going to do, I'm sure we might miss some people, but I'm going to read through the list. And if there's any problems, come see me. We might not have enough t-shirts, but I think we do. But the following spring athletes, if you're here tonight, after the program's over, come down and see me and we'll give you a t-shirt. The star athlete, with the ones that have an average of 2.75 to 3.5, are as follows: Kyle Bloodworth, Mark Bolin, Herschel Bridges, Luba Belay, Joan Burgess, Becky Caldwell, Samantha Calley, Jacob Chapdelaine, Shelby Cooper, Lindsey Crumby, Luke Kunderi, Tyler Emler, Marina Gentry, Kayla Gully, Zach Hall, Autumn Harrison, Daniel Hendricks, Shelby Hoppy, Wayne Jaworski, Kinley Lambert, Evan Magnus, Angel Messenger, Cody Mitchell, Kramer Mullins, Tiffany Oran, Terrence Payne, Devin Pinner, Andy Ray, Chelsea Shelby, Rachel Siegel, Kayla Sledge, Morgan Smith, Kala Surdike, I hope that's right, Chris Tibble, Jeremy Moore, and Stephen Ray. Those athletes will receive the White Star t-shirt, and they need to come down and get those at the end of the ceremony. The Gold Star athletes are those with 3.5 grade point average and higher, and those athletes will get a gold t-shirt, and those athletes are Ethan Allison, Kelly Barnhill, Tanner Beard, Lexi Bergenstein, Drew Bledsoe, Ryan Bledsoe, Bobby Bach, Hunter Branch, Dakota Bryson, Allie Belay, Molly Casaletta, Ethan Cassidy, Dalton Cavender, Joseph Chapdelaine, Lauren Cheek, Jillian Cherry, Jesse Dowdy, Caleb Duke, Jacob Duke, Drew Ellington, Lee Ficken, Hannah Forbes, Rachel Forbes, Ernest Franklin, Jack Grayson, Paul Grayson, Nathan Green, Chelsea Grishharber, Clay Hare, Curtis Hand, Brayton Hargrove, Katie Hefcock, Tim Hill, Zach Hughes, L.A. Hewlin, Ben Johnson, Chase Kimball, Taylor King, Tim Lampley, Jacob Lampley, Trish Lancaster, Sarah Lejeune, Zach Mays, Chelsea Morton, Rosalind Mosley, Allison Nutt, Dakota Parker, Samantha Patterson, Daniel Raines, Logan Rowe, Laura Shelby, Alicia Tidwell, Nate Tidwell, Kathy Tours, and that's it. These young athletes do a good job in class and maintain their work, and they need your applause tonight. Thank you very much. I do appreciate all of you being here. We've had a great year. 2008, these seniors, may God bless you. Have a great time in college. Any other announcements need to be made tonight? There's plenty of food. Thank y'all for staying.